you're back. How does it feel, to get the 1 year extension with the Heat after the first two? Do you feel things are on the up after this year?
Yeah, on the up after last year. I'm really excited, obviously, and thank both boards from Queensland Cricket and Heat to entrust me for another year. Looking forward to the improvement we showed last year continuing. And we've got a lot of really good young guys and obviously some experience there. So fingers crossed we can get a step further and play in the final next year.
Were you concerned that, the term review obviously has connotations of change? Were you concerned for your place at all?
No, we have reviews all the time, but that external review, we hadn't had one from the Brisbane Heat point of view from the start. So no problems with that. It finds different things and how you can improve, and that's the best thing about reviews. You take it as it is and you work through it and try and become better as a coach and coaches or players, etc.
Are there any priority recruits for next season? I mean, De Villiers didn't come this season. He was here. Or any priorities at all?
There's a lot of priorities. I mean, if you said I could have De Villiers, Banton and Majib, I'd take them in a heartbeat. But obviously with the draft scenario, we just got to wait and see how that plays out with CA. So, we're in consultation with all those guys and their managers and trying to work through the best way to end up with that sort of three. But we were really happy with our overseas last year. Obviously, a few of them would like to make more runs and take more wickets, but they were fantastic around the group. So let's just wait and see where it falls.
Does just one more summer feel a bit like pressure?
No, I had enough pressure with a heart attack, thanks very much. I'm just really enjoying it, to be perfect honest. It was fantastic. And because you're out of the game for a bit and then coming back into it, the guys improve all the time. So I'm a little less stressed as well with the win-loss as such. It's about, obviously, creating really good players on and off the field, but hopefully you have some good results. So for me, it's just about playing the game and hopefully they play well.
You touched on the review earlier. As a coach, what's the most important stuff that you need to focus on that's come out of that?
Oh, helping the young guys more. You've got to keep helping them all the time. So the review was great for me personally. You've got to improve. You're always looking to improve as a coach and trying to mentor these younger guys and also create a culture that's sustainable for a long period of time. So for me, that was just a really good knowledge point and making sure I'm ready to go for this year. So, looking after the young guys, keep improving them and hopefully we play well.
You mentioned the young guys, Darren. One of the things that the current crop of cricketers is they do have a different way of experiencing the game to what you did when you first started.
Yeah, they do, and they play a different way, and that's a great thing. That's the exciting thing about the game, how it's evolved. I mean, as an older player, we're always saying you've got to play a certain way, but one thing I do like about these players today, both in the male and the female game, they're 360. They can do things that we couldn't do when we played. They're a lot better athletes for a start, but they've got more skill levels in the way they go about it. So it's about enhancing that and actually more strategic and match awareness for them.
You mentioned your heart attack and coming back from it. Has it changed you at all, your approach towards sport or cricket or life indeed?
Yeah, very much so. I suppose I just enjoy the game and the sport. I've always loved the game, and I'm cricket nuffy, as you know, Crash, but more importantly, I've just loved watching the game in all formats, not just one particular format, not just the male game, the women's game's gone through the roof, so, and all sports in general. So I'm more relaxed with the game and what it is. It's a sport for everyone, the fans, and making sure that we're custodians of the game and trying to promote it the right way and play the right way.
You mentioned you're enjoying the cricket and watch it all formats, and you're here for the Shield commentating, and you got to see Marnus sort of do something in red ball cricket, but you'd see him in the BBL as well. He was riding a wave that just kept going. Didn't
it was fantastic to call. That's one of the best Shield hundreds I've ever seen. I mean, he didn't hit a ball in the air until he got out, obviously. So for me, to witness that close hand, to see him evolve as a cricketer, I mean, Wade Seckham and the Bulls coaching staff have done an amazing job with him and his desire to play well and carry that Bulls team. Obviously, it was a really tough wicket because he was the only one to get over 50. So well done to those guys. They've played exceptionally well all year, and Marnus has been a big part of that. It was great to see so many Australian players playing Shield cricket this year.
Well, if we look to change the leadership, I know Linny's a really popular member of the team, popular with fans, but there's always the debate, is he better off just focusing on whacking the ball and not worrying about the captaincy stuff? And when he was out, Jimmy captained really well. Like, is that something you maybe look at changing?
They've both done a great job, so we'll sit down and talk about that closer to the season and see where he sits. He's obviously away over in the Premier League, but look, if he continues, then great. If he just decides to stand at the side and we move with someone like Jimmy or someone else, well, that's great as well. So we're not so stressed on that front at the moment. A case of him deciding where he wants to go and where he wants to take his career. We obviously love him, the fans love him, and he's a really important part of the Brisbane Heat.
Has he had any or made any mention of what
He has, but I can't tell you.
Do you feel
Tell us.
Do you feel he,
No, I can't tell you either.
do you feel he manages that dual role well though, or does he have?
No, I think he's grown into the role really well. He's had some good guidance along the way, but I think he did a really good job. He was out injured and then obviously came back in. Jimmy did a great job. So we're lucky enough to have some really good leaders around the place. So whoever does the job will do it well. And they'll have the support either way.
It's a straight battle, not isn't it?
Sorry about that.
It's not a 2020 format.
You watched the Australian attack minors come and struggle in the Shield final, and before that they couldn't bowl India out in a couple of tests. Is there something just gone a bit awry there? Do you put it down to anything at all?
Oh, that's a good question. You need a little bit of luck along the way. Maybe they didn't have the plans they would have liked at certain stages, especially probably at the Gabba. I mean, in Sydney they bowled really well, and the Gabba was quite a non-traditional wicket, I suppose. And they came on the back of bowling 140 overs as well, so that was tough work to back that up. Maybe Michael Neeser could have played that game as well and had the extra bowling option. But all in all, they really dominated Barrow in the last days of each test match, those last couple. So they're pretty formidable attack. You'd like a bit more form, but that's been really picky, isn't it, Crash? They're pretty good.
As a coach and a pundit and a commentator, you commentated the Shield final. How far off do you reckon Ness is from a test?
Not far from what I saw. You're talking high quality over the last few years, but the same analogy, who do you replace? You know, you've got to drop Stark, Cummins or Hazelwood. They're three pretty good bowlers all line. You're not dropping any of those. I wouldn't think Stark might be under a little bit of pressure, but you know, he's still a quality bowler, so it's a really tough one. He's just got to keep putting his name up and being ready to go.
You mentioned the Gabba for the test. Were you excited by the prospect of a redeveloped
Oh
Gabba?
yeah, I like that. I mean, a new Gabba, how good would that be? As long as they keep the wicket, that's all I want to see. But I mean, the funding in the Olympics here, a new stadium. I mean, that's exciting as it gets for Queensland cricket. I mean, you think of a new stadium at the Gabba. What are they saying? 50,000 people and new lights, and as long as they keep the wicket as is.
Do you reckon that's possible? Like if they're going
Yes.
to, I mean, I'm sure everyone, cricket fans, players, coaches would love it, but if they're going to sort of do a full redevelopment, put an athletics track in there and everything, it feels like it might be hard.
Nah, they'll get it done. They'll get it done. Same wicket, please.
Engineering says you guys, the Heat had a fair bit of experience of playing at Metricon Stadium. Is it a venue that could potentially could shoulder a test if it was required in those construction years if it all goes ahead?
Yeah, that's the conundrum, isn't it, for everyone? And where they play, you don't want to lose the test match here to anywhere outside Queensland. So they certainly can play Metricon, no problems at all. We played there last couple of years, and the wicket actually improved. They probably need a couple more wickets, I suppose, but in terms of facilities, that's good enough. Can certainly play 5 days. Then you've got regional areas you can go to as well. So there's enough grounds to keep playing Test cricket. And what's wrong with taking it to the public? So if it has to miss out for a year or two, the big one would be an Ashes year. You always want that at the Gabba, for example. But if in the meantime, in those other years, you could certainly move it around a bit.
Where regionally do you think could?
Well, Mackay, Townsville, Cairns, they could all host it. I've probably missed a few out, to be perfectly honest. There's so many grounds that you could play, and Shield cricket the same. So there's enough grounds within Queensland to keep the test match here, definitely.